Hi YouTube, it's me, the Shy Pianist, or you may know it as Donald of Zephyr War Games, bring you a updated, pure Ice Barrier deck profile. Yes, it's been a long time since I've done a deck profile for this channel, and my previous Ice Barrier deck profile I did back in June 2019. So once again, I've finally, with all the new support that was been released, I've been able to update this deck profile. First things first, as always, all my deck is always majority of my decks have been sleeved in standard size sleeves, and secondly, because I haven't still yet to receive my Ice Barrier structure decks, and there's a few cards that are missing, I've decided to just proxy them in so that I get this deck profile out to you guys as soon as possible. So with that out of the way, let's just get straight into to the deck profile and just go through my build. So starting straight off, I'm playing for the high levels. I'm playing the one General Gunrad, General Guntala, and the one medium Ice Barrier. So these are the effectively, I would say, tech boss monsters for ice barriers in the main deck per sense. These can be taken out if you so wish to for other tech cards that you would want in the deck instead. But Gunrad gives you an additional normal summon for ice barrier monsters. Guntala revives a ice barrier in your end phase, and medium can freely summon itself if your opponent controls 4 more cards than you do, and your opponent can only activate 1 spell trap per each turn. So all good in the sense that they're like just able to be helpful to the deck, but yet being high level, they are a bit harder to just get out to the board. Next, we are playing triple General Wayne of the Ice Barrier. So as you can see here, these are proxies with the color. So General Wayne really does the deck a solid for allowing you to just effectively search basically any of your Ice Barrier spell traps if this card is normal or special summoned, and yeah, you can. It has the effect to any spell traps you're from the field to your graveyard are banished instead. And if you control a monster and your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this out. Being a level 5, it does aid in some synchro plays, but being for what Trish and the big Trish are, it does have its uses to at least assist to just put yourself a body on board, or just search out mainly your Ice Barrier spell traps that you need. Okay, on to the low levels. Of course, we have to play Triple Revealer. I'm so happy that this is a thing. Being a card that can just turbo out a tuner from the deck, and just generally give you just more presence on the board, but mainly, obviously, now you can make your synchros a lot more easier. But except for Trish. So it's probably been explained before. You just ditch a card, especially on Ice Barrier tuner monster from your deck, and you are locked into waters for the rest of the turn. And if you would discard a card or cards from your hand to graveyard to activate an Ice Barrier monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead of one of those cards. So mainly, it seems to be that you summon this and ditch one to summon a level 2 or level 3 tuner to then summon Gungnir or Bryanag, and then you would banish this to then use its effect to either bounce effectively or from the field. Or destroy it, yeah. That's what Gungnir does. So that's, 3 Revealer. And next, we are also playing Triple Speak for the Ice Barrier. This is just effectively a free body summon that you can, if you control an Ice Barrier, and when it's in your grave, you can just banish it, then summon a token. Ice Barrier token from your onto the field, but just banish it from the grave. And yeah, it also has the additional effect that if you control another Ice Barrier monster, and defense position monsters your opponent controls can't change their battle positions. So this effectively does work if you play a more control build. You can use this in tandem with Esbahan. So Esbahan, if your opponent normals, flips, or specials any monster that isn't a water, they are switched to defense position, and then Speaker being on field with an Ice Barrier monster, you know, they just can't change their battle positions entirely on that. And then we are going into our level 3, our one-off level 3 tuner. I went with Geomancer over Defender, simply because it's a lot more generic in the sense that Defender does require you to have another Ice Barrier to then make sure they can't attack with anything with 1600 or higher. But then Geomancer just gives you just a nice free discard to declare an attribute, and then it can't be targeted by monsters of the declared attribute. So this is generally great that if you have a speaker in hand and 2 speakers in hand and the Geomancer, so you effectively can just normal this, special summon this, effective this to ditch your second speaker in your grave, from your hand to the grave, and then banish it to summon a token, giving you access to a level 8 Synchro, or just a Hackley Firebrax play, and then another Synchro on top of that. So just a level 3 tuner, just to at least put 1 in the deck for Ice Barriers, because it does help in a lot of situations. So choose Geomancer or Defender as you will, but Geomancer wasn't given in the decks, so if you got any destructure decks, go with the Defender. Next is the one Sujin of the Ice Barrier. Now, Sujin of the Ice Barrier is effectively only great if you're playing more of the high level ones, high level Ice Barriers. Otherwise, if you're considering to go, as I said, taking these high level ones out for tech plays and whatnot, by all means take Sujin out as well. So yeah, its effect is you tribute this special summon level 5 or higher Ice Barrier from your hand. If this card's in your graveyard, set the turn it was sent there. You can target level 3 or higher water monster control, reduce its level by 2. If you do, special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect once per turn. So yeah, only use this if you're playing more of the high level ones, and if not, yeah, it's not really worth playing him unless you use him as a foolish barrel target and then set up for next turn play or something. So yeah. Next, we are playing triple Prior of the Ice Barrier. Now, Prior is a great free summon on the condition that you're basically hard locking yourself not to summon any level 5 or higher. The other condition is that you just normal summon this and then revive, tribute it to then revive an Ice Barrier from your graveyard. So, which then, in a sense, if you just normal this, tribute, and then you can revive any Ice Barrier monster. But if you special summon and then tribute, you are basically locking yourself to summoning level 4s or lower. But in a lot of cases, if a lot of builds, if this goes off a lot, this deck takes off, I would probably expect a lot more people to play a lot of the lower level Ice Barriers rather than playing the high level ones. And this is just a great free summon in a sense. Also, the fact that it is a level 2 Aqua, which makes totally awesome. For the level 2 tuners, I am playing 2 Dudark and 2 Chiromancer. Dudark is effectively your attack directly for free. While all your monsters you control at level 2 or lower. So a lot of people may recall the I guess Frog Wetlands deck that I think Dev Pro originally had, or even now, would just play lots of these and just attack directly, and then in combo with Chiromancer, if you control another Ice Barrier monster, it basically applies Gravity Bind, in which level 4 or higher monsters cannot declare an attack. So back then it was just a lot more useful to have this sort of combo play and just keep attacking directly, but with XYZs and Links being a thing, it's become less relevant. But it still is required to at least have level 2 tuners in the deck, because it does help you summon out Trish. It does help you summon Bryanek as well. And other level 6 Synchros, mainly from your extra deck. And last and not least, we are playing the one Hexa Spirit, being your only level 1 tuner in the deck. For, well, what I could say is a lot more playable, should I say, for Ice Barriers, and being able to change its level is also great on that part as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the monsters on that part, and we will now move on to the spells. So for the Ice Barrier spells, we are obviously playing triple Medallion of the Ice Barrier. Just search out any Ice Barrier from your deck, not once per turn. We are also playing triple Winds over the Ice Barrier. Now the reason for this is that I prefer to actually try and see this and turbo out more for your Synchro plays. Yes, while yeah, it sort of contradicts with the high level ones, and depending on your personal preference on this part, play more of the lower levels so you can just interchange whatever. If you need a tuner on the board, level 3, 2, 1 on the board, and then just help you go into your Synchro plays on that. Also, don't forget the fact that if this is in your graveyard, except during the turn of center, during your main phase, you can banish this to then target one of your Ice Barriers that is banished or in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. So this might be something that people may forget when reading over this card. Lastly, from the new stuff, we are playing 2 Freezing Chains. I've decided to go with 2 rather than 3, because more times than enough that if you do open this and you don't have anything to send to grave, then by all means, just play this at 2. And then this does just give you the revive at level 4 or lower, and then if you control 3 or more Ice Barriers, your monsters are unaffected by the activated effects by opponent's extra deck monsters. So that is somewhat handy, but in order to turbo out 3, it is a bit more of a hassle, a bit more of a I guess a work. It takes a lot more work to get there, but with the new stuff, it just generally just does help. Lastly, for the Ice Barrier spells, I am playing the 1 Magic Triangle. So Magic Triangle, you reveal 3 Ice Barriers with different names, and then you special summon 1 and you destroy 1 card your opponent controls. So it does target for the part, which is a bit annoying, because a lot of cards these days still just can't be targeted, but it's still a nice free summon if you have the high levels. Summon out the high level and target a monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and then you can follow up with your normal summons or special summons and whatnot on top of that. For the other spells, I am playing Triple Water Hazard. Now, if you are, I've mentioned this tech card in the podcast, whenever that comes out, at the time of recording this video. So Water Hazard basically allows you to, while you're controlling no monsters, special summon a level 4 or lower water monster from your hand. So if you're playing more of the Frog Engine, all low levels and whatnot, consider this to be just a free summon if you open it in your hand. And yes, the downside to this is that you open up 2 copies and just trying to resolve one if it goes through, and then for the rest of the while you just pumping out monsters on board, this just becomes in a sense a bit dead. For the rest, so more on to the other spells. So I'm playing 2 Aquarium Sage. Now this is more for my personal preference of tech for continuous spell. So Aquarium Sage basically is water monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle with a non-water monster. The other effect is to do with Aqua Actresses, but the fact that it just basically gives you a layer of protection to your Ice Barriers in that can't be destroyed by battle, because there's not really a lot of water decks running around. The only notable ones would be the Mermails or Paleo Frogs. So Aquarium Stage is just basically a extra blanket of protection for your Ice Barriers, because they can't really do much like for the low levels, and they are pretty easy to hit over. So this is in a sense just my preference to just give the deck a lot more survivability to then basically attempt to combo out more onto the field. So yeah, just something you might want to consider effectively. Next we are playing 2 Salvage. So just helps you to recur water monsters from your grave. And to round it up, we are playing the 1 Monster Reborn and the 1 Raigeki. So these can be just cards any you want. Monster Reborns just give you extra extend onto the field, and Raigeki, you know, you can swap this out for any like perhaps if you need more like back row destruction, like Twin Twisters and whatnot, or Cosmic Cyclones, or just any like negation as well. So that's what I mean by like if you take out the high levels, you can all of this can be just whatever you really want to be in the deck. So yeah, this is just what I go with. Moving on to the extra deck, we are not really changing much as from the Synchro lineup for Ice Barrows. We are playing the 1 Trish, the 1 Gungnir, Brionek, and Du Lauren. And of course we are playing the 1 new Trish, Zero Dragon. So obviously this is just giving you options to play into these Synchro monsters. I don't feel there's really any need to play more than 1 of each, or more so of like you can play because of the errata. There's really no much point, and obviously Trish is at 1. So like you don't really feel to need to play more than 1 at the time, and the deck, even though being able to pump out Synchros a lot more effectively now, you probably just end up going to more the Toad negation plays anyway. So as sad as it is, you can I prefer to still play 1 of each for the deck. For the other Synchro lineup, I do apologise. I do play. I would go with at least the 1 Shooting Riser. I still haven't got mine, and you could at least go with the Dragite. Dragite gives you just that extra negation during your opponent's turn, and then the 1 Crocodon Ravenous Crocoddragon. Now, Crocoddragon can be really any other Synchro like Formula Synchron, Desert Locust, and any like. Also any other like Synchro tuner that can Synchro summon during your opponent's turn, or you can just go with a big boss monster and such. You can even possibly tech in Black Rose Dragon, so because you can like summon Shooting Riser and then Synchro summon into a Black Rose during your opponent's turn, and then just board wipe. So just a couple of Synchros that you can just like go into your opponent's turn and give you extra like I guess interaction or disruption, yeah, with that. For the XYZs, I am playing the 2 Bahamut Shark and Triple Toad. Now, Triple Toad is, you might consider this as a bit like overkill, but there's a lot of times that you can just hard summon Toad and then just summon Bahamut Shark to then give you another Toad. Majority of the time, and if that just breaks through, you still have a follow-up with an extra set. So I don't feel this is really overkill in a sense. Yeah, you can argue, you know, Toad can recycle itself back and whatnot, and then you won't need to actually play Triple Toad. But most of the time, if I'm going to recycle Toad, I'm going to go with an Ice Barrier in a grave to then recur back to hand and proceed with like extended plays or whatnot. So yeah, just this ratio, at least play 1 Bahamut Shark and 1 Toad, or possibly even 2. But yeah, this is just like just backup for me, honestly. So yeah. And last and not least, I would be playing 2 Crystal Hi-Fi Brax. Reason I would go with 2 is that this is just so much easier to make in this deck now, because just need a 1 tuner, non-tuner, or actually just 1. Include just 2 monsters, including a tuner. So, reason I would go with 2 is that there's a lot of times where I've found myself just going to 1, you then tag it out to then summon a Shooting Riser Dragon or whatnot. So the reason for the second one is that yes, if you were if I was to play into second one, I would probably like swap out Crocodile Dragon for like another Synchro tuner, maybe another Shooting Riser Dragon. and then so that way you can do another interruption play during your opponent's turn. But yeah, it just the ratio of having at least two. I would like to still pick up a second copy of this card, but it's very arguable to just say this could just get limited or this could just be banned. I still think if it does survive the ban list, it's just nice for these this sort of deck being as low tier as it is, to then basically benefit to just summon a tune out from your deck and then continue for more plays. So that is it for the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed my build, or the pure variant build in sense of the deck. I really like to try and stay true towards like what Ice Bearers are trying to do. And yeah, like with the new stuff, they have gone to more synchro orientated and more combo orientated, though Joe did argue in the fact that Ice Bearers were effectively in sense a deck that could just stun a lot. So yeah, there's options for that, but I just prefer to play a bit more combo based, and thus I play like more of the low levels, but then at least give your deck some high levels to at least deal with some instances of issues and stuff like what you could come up against. So yeah, that is it for the deck profile. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, guys, happy dueling!